All right, welcome back to the studio. I haven't been in here in a while. I'm gonna bring you along with where I'm at with this. This has been a real frustration for me since my first house, 2005, December. So yeah, we moved in December of 2005. My first house, Claremont, Florida. Paid $282,000 for that thing. Sold the stupid place for $125, I believe. So I think I netted like 120 on the transaction. Talk about starting off your life in a frickin' hole. But we bought the house, and in the boom of the real estate bubble, and then I needed to move up here closer to where my office was. And Michelle had stopped working, and so all the money we'd saved to put down on the next house went to just pay to get out from underneath the other house. Because I was a financial advisor, we couldn't do any kind of foreclosing or short selling like everybody else is doing. So I had to just write the check. So we rented for a couple of years until I got the brown house, which is where I started making videos. But through that whole process, we've seen light bulbs change as well. We've seen this transition from normal incandescent into like the CFL style, the little squirrely halogen style, into now actual functional LED. So you have a direct replacement for a filament style incandescent traditional light bulb. And then we have the ability to get color changes. So we can choose different colors, and then we can also now get even more accurate color representation with modern bulbs. Now here's the problem I've struggled with from my first house all the way through. It's always been, I've found it really difficult. Maybe I find it hard to believe many people are better shoppers than me. I'm a pretty darn good shopping guy. I'm great at Google searching and looking for stuff, and I'm willing to take gambles and risks on products, and the risk of losing a little bit of money, and now that's turned into a whole business. And I've had such a struggle, even to today, to get like a decent light bulb to put in my lamp or to put on my restoration hardware light fixture. It's been such a struggle to find it, and if you can find it, you don't really know if you're paying a reasonable price for it, and it's just been a rough road to try to get like light bulbs. I've tried all kinds of like color shifting. Those tend to be garbage. The little programmable ones from your the Philips Hues and the Cree's version where you can change it from your phone. Those are terrible. I've tried all different types of stuff. The one with the big heat sink on it, I mean, those light bulbs are just the quality of light is not good. It doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. And so what I keep coming back to is a filament style bulb, so a clear bulb like this here. So if I have the choice, I want to try to get a clear type. If we're looking for a regular light bulb, is a filament style. So this looks like your old school light bulb, but it's an LED. And I found that it really doesn't matter how much money you spend. I bought some of these that are like $20 a piece, and they'd fail in days or weeks. I bought some that are dirt cheap that would fail in days or weeks. I bought some that are in the middle of the road, which is kind of what these are. And I found that through all of my different, I've tried like the Green Creative and obviously the stuff that's at Home Depot, and I've tried all different brands, and I kept coming back to the Satco bulbs. Just so happens that one of my friends happens to be a executive. His family started Satco 50 years ago or whenever they started it, and he's in my GT car group. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, I keep buying Satco bulbs. I find them really difficult to find. Most of this stuff is done through local light distribution companies, and can I just curate a line of bulbs from your catalog? And because a lot of these you won't find anywhere else, like you can't find them online. He said, yeah, let's do it. So Adam hooked me up, got me set up with an account, and now through Obsessed Garage Destination OG, we're gonna sort of provide bulbs as an option. So let's kind of fumble through this together. I had Mike make me a little little light thingy here so I can show you the different color temperatures, if we can capture that on camera. And I'm going to talk to you about rough pricing of where these things are, and talk to you about what our options are as we kind of work through the different bulbs. So let's start with the filament style. Let me just put this back in here just so I can keep myself organized. So let's start with clear filament style, typical A19. So these are normal A19 bulbs, Edison style bulbs. So it's an E12, or I'm sorry, E26 base is what they are, and it's an A19 size. So E26 is the thread, the screw, that you put in a normal lamp socket. You put in a normal lamp, so like a ceiling fixture like this guy here. So this type of connection is an E26. And this is what we're used to. This is what we all grew up with. Even with LED, it's the same type of connection. Even with LED retrofit in like recessed ceilings, which we're going to talk about as well, all that stuff, it's the same type of connection. So really in our house, we're going to have two types of connections. We're going to have the E26 type, and then what's the other one called? The BR30 is using E26. E12. So E12 is the little baby size. That's the size you're going to get in like bathroom fixtures and chandeliers and stuff like that. So we have a solution for that too, because that's been the one that I've had the hardest time finding. All the lights that you get from all the companies come terrible. Half of them, if they are LED, most of the time they're not. They're incandescent. They're always 2700 or 2000 Kelvin. It's just a terrible color temp. Just doesn't work in a modern home. So first thing you need to know is the type of bulb, and almost all of them are going to be E26. All of these are E26, E26, E26. Even these retrofits, we're going to mention these. We're not going to dig into these today. E26 with the exception of these little buddies over here, which is an E12. So inside of E26, there are A19, which is your traditional light bulb. There are PAR 38s, PAR 38s. There's also BR 40s and BR 30s for your recessed fixtures. And there are a bunch of others. There's also, I think I have a globe light there I should have in my, yeah, so that one G40 right there is a often used, this is one that would also stock. So this is so there are some odd ones. There's like this is a G40 style, same exact output as like a normal A19, just a big bubble, that you would put these in like I have these big lamps, whatever you call, that go pendants that come down over your bar, and so I put some of these G40s in there. So anyway, that's really, it's keep it simple here. We have two types of bulbs. We have an E12 with a little baby threaded, and we have a E26, which is a regular, regular size light bulb. So let's talk about the regular light bulbs first. So now color temp. We've talked about color temp a lot. I'll show you in a minute here on our little demo setup here. In almost every home, your color light bulbs are going to be 2700K, which is very yellow, so it's on the orangest yellow spectrum. The lowest color temp you can get in most instances, like on some of those like retro-looking filament-style bulbs, you get down to 2000 Kelvin, which is closer to what a candle would look like. So 2K is that really yellow look, that really old-school sort of antique look. Most of us aren't going to do that in our house. And to put it into perspective, my very wood-heavy, very pine-heavy reds and like mahogany-type tones of the Helen house, all the lights we chose were 3K, so 3000 Kelvin. So we come up a little bit in color temp. It seems to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more accurate. If we went to 3500, it started to look a little bit too modern, a little bit too blue. But yet my house here in Florida is all gray, the cabinets are gray, the floors are gray, the walls are stark white. And so this house we have set up on all 3500 Kelvin. Now, I want to make you aware that there's a big difference in what your colors of things in a room look like. Like for example, this light that's lighting me here, it's probably set to what, 6500 or 5K. 5K, this is super, super high color accuracy. So it has a super high CRI rating, probably closer to 93, 94, with a really, really high quality R, I think it's the red 12 value, or it's R9 value is the one that's really hard for LEDs to replicate. So this particular light here is extremely color accurate. This is a $1,200 light bulb, basically, is what we're using to light this room. 5K true color accurate is very different looking than cheap 5K. And when you get all these 90 CRI ratings from the Amazon lights like the Barinas and what are baristas or whatever they call it, everybody buys, they're not truly 90 CRI. They're cherry picking from the color spectrum. These, I would guess, are probably in the mid. These are the best light bulbs I've found from an accuracy perspective. I bet you there's probably better available, but good luck finding them. What I'm getting at is that what you're accustomed to seeing from like Home Depot grade light bulbs, your 5K, 4K are actually quite a bit bluer, quite a bit whiter and bluer looking than what you may be used to. So when you start to get into higher color accurate bulbs, I found that like I thought for sure this house I would want to go to 4K because of how gray the house is. But if you go to 4K and it's truly high quality LED, then it starts to get too white, gets too blue. So I think what I used to do in my garage, I used to do 6500 Kelvin, and I used to do, try to do like 4K in the house. But that was with cheap stuff. When you have good quality light output, these I would put on that spectrum. You want to dial it back a bit, maybe 500 to 1000 Kelvin from what you think you might want, because it gets too fatiguing. Like we're just all accustomed to living at 2700 Kelvin, 2000 Kelvin. We're accustomed to living in that candlelight look. So you don't want to go too aggressive and light your house to where it feels like you're in some sort of like laboratory or some sort of what did I just say? Laboratory. So the Satco bulbs, your normal 60 watt equivalent, which is an 8 watt bulb, so this draws 8 watts. So you're going to see some change in your electric bill if you go and swap all this stuff. Probably not enough to pay for all the light bulbs you're going to spend money on. But the normal 65 or 660 watt equivalent or 8 watt bulb comes in 3K, 3500, which is the tough one to find, 4K, and then 5K. And they also sell this in the same 8 watt in a 4-pack where you can save some money. Again, they skip the 3500, 3K, 4K, and 5K. So you have the option to buy these in a bulk 4-pack, save you some money. Just to give you an idea, a single bulb is about $6. A 4-pack is, actually I take that back. A single bulb is about $5.50. And a 4-pack is like $15. So you're going to save what, $2 by buying a 4-pack. Same exact light bulbs, same exact 90 CRI rated. I'd love to get. I'm going to try to get the. What are they using? What's the spec of these? There's got to be a way to measure that. I wonder how we could maybe get some sort of measuring device to measure actual CRI output, to see how close these actually are to, say, the quality of like the Cree lights we have in here, that I think are much more color accurate, or something like our aperture light that we use for filming. So that would be kind of a neat little experiment to take on. But I find that now, most of you are going to have overhead lights. We have DMF, we have the Cree stuff, which is super, super high quality. And so these lights are generally not going to be your workhorses in the house anymore. But I still need them. I still have Michelle Hall has all these fancy lamps all over the place. And so I need light bulbs, and I want the light bulbs to match, and I want them to look good. And when you get the bulbs that are, frosted, it just doesn't look right. You need the filament style, the clear style type bulbs. And I want to make it readily available where if you want 3500 Kelvin, you know you're going to be paying a reasonable price. You know that we have it and we know we're going to ship it. If we don't have it, we'll go get it and ship it. So versus I've always had to buy, if I'm buying, if I could even find this, I don't think I can. If you could even find this online, you'll see it's some like old looking, you know, supplier, you know, electrical supplier's website. You're using like VeriSign to like PayPal or just some weird checkout, and I've put money into the ether and just hope it shows up someday. Usually shows up a dusty old box, and you know, you just don't know. And so you guys know me, and so you know what you're going to get. So they also make the A19 style bulb in a 75 watt, which is a 10.5 watt, or a 75 watt equivalent, which draws 10.5 watts, and then the 100 watt version, but they don't make it in 3500. And they only sell it in a 4-pack at 3K. If you want 3K bulbs, you need a bunch of them, you can buy a 4-pack. If you want 3500, it's at a 100 watt equivalent. We don't have it. Doesn't exist. They don't make it. No one freaking makes it. If you wanted a 75 watt at 3K, we have it in a 4-pack. But if you wanted a 75 watt at 5K, doesn't exist. Where most people are gonna live is in the 3K and 3500. And just know if you do adopt 3500 as a light, you're going to have some limited choices in what kind of wattage equivalent output you can achieve with these bulbs. You're not going to be able to buy them in bulk. You're going to have to buy them individually. So, and that's the case across most of the spectrum here. You're going to have a little bit more tough. There's a tougher time to get a hold of the stuff. So before I get into the other bulbs, so we can keep this organized for you, let's put these on our little light bar and show you what the different color temperatures look like. Let's also see if we can see much of a difference in light output so we'll do like a 60 watt versus 100 watt and see how that looks. So these filament style bulbs, so these aren't super high temp, so you can touch it. You know, like, you know, halogens, like you're replacing your, you ever like use your t-shirt, you're trying to screw in a light bulb, you don't want to touch it. Fingerprints really won't affect these, so you can touch the bulb. So there's our 3K bulb, you can see, rather yellow, but if we had a 2700 next to it, I'm not even carrying 2700. You shouldn't be doing 2700 anymore. It just feels too stinky and old to me. So you can get 2700K bulbs anywhere. Everybody has them. They're in stock all over the place, so I'm not even going to carry them. We're only going to start at 3K. I don't have a 2700K bulb in my life. This is the holy grail here, the 3000, or I'm sorry, the 3500. You can see quite a bit different. 4K, maybe a little bit whiter, bluer. And then 5K, I mean, we're kind of carrying this just so we can, mainly so I can have a complete set, but I don't think you're going to be doing 5K very often because you can see kind of the blue hue to it. So depending on your house, and you'll see it, and you may want to buy you know, a couple of bulbs. I mean, you'll see it a lot more on a downlight, like if you did a retrofit downlight. These are incredible lights. Again, these should be supplements, but all of your recessed lighting, if you're going to swap out an LED retrofit, like this is a 3500K Cree light, I would buy, like what I've done is bought all the different color temps, and then I'd try it. Because I'm telling you, color selectable lights, so like these SLG lights that we've been using quite a bit because we've been having a hard time finding dedicated 5K bulbs for the garage. So you see how this has a color shifting or color changing temperature or color temperature changing switch. The thing to keep in mind is that if it shifts color temp, it's not good at any color temp, right? So you are going to be less color accurate. You're going to find that the lighting isn't as comfortable. I think the way that it does it is it uses, so this will have two chips. And then, but the chips, if they're not dedicated to a certain color temp, you're never going to get as accurate of a representation. So you're going to end up with mediocre light no matter what. Even in a decent light bulb fixture, like these are much better than any sort of halo light or something you're going to get at Home Depot. But it's still, to me, it's just not good enough. I want a dedicated fixture. And so I got to test these out, but Satco does make for me. They are making, I just don't know how good these are. We got to try it out. Cree doesn't make a 3500 for the garage. And so Satco does. So we're going to test these out and see how well they do. I've got to install them in a couple locations and try them out. But you can see a retrofit is the key to a retrofit. And a good quality retrofit is that you have this. So you need the light recessed into the cup, so that way it doesn't, you get less glare when you have the ring around the light. So that's important. And a lot of them don't have that. They have a dome style. These are almost always going to have a lampshade. So you can see the difference, and you can even feel, like if you had an incandescent light hooked up this long, I mean, there's very little heat. I mean, I can take and palm this light and take it off even a few hours afterward. You can feel some heat build up, but considerably less than if you had an incandescent light, and that's the efficiency difference. Something I should mention, this is going to hack some of you off. These have a 3-year warranty. There's some asterisks next to it. The asterisk on my site is going to say we're not doing that. So out of every dozen of these, I don't know, where are these made? China, probably. Made in China. For every 12 of these I buy, they all work. Actually, probably for every 24 I buy, one of them is going to have a flicker issue, is going to have some sort of problem. I'm not frickin' sending a bunch of free light bulbs out for you when a year and a half from now your light bulb craps out. I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. Satco's not doing it. We're not honoring the warranty. It's $5. Buy another one. Chalk it up to, okay, the bulbs don't cost you $5, they cost you $6. Because every 20 of these you're going to have one, sometimes they're going to be problematic. The other thing you need to keep in mind is that chances are your light switch is the problem. So chances are your light switch is nuking these bulbs. So if you find that you end up with some flickering, you probably need to replace the switch, because the switch isn't capable of handling, by the way, these are all dimmable, is operating on an off frequency. And so LEDs are, I found, quite a bit more finicky. I can't tell you how many of these I bought. These have been the most stable, the most accurate, the most likely to work, the most likely to work a long time. But many of them I buy, the ones I bought at Home Depot, the green creatives I bought, and some of them I bought would fail like every other month. And I'm not frickin' calling the company to get my $8 back. We're not doing that. I'm telling you right now, if you send an email, I'm going to tell you to get bent. We're not doing it. So just keep that in mind. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to compare the 3K of, see how much light output difference there was. So just don't buy it. Don't do it. Don't give me your money, because I'm not paying $5, $6, $8, $9 to send you a $3 or a $6 light bulb. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. So if you have a recessed fixture in the ceiling, you're probably going to want to do a retrofit. So you're going to want to buy a LED retrofit. The way that these work, we have these, I don't know if we have these in the store, but we got to get them up. This is I'm putting this video up. We're getting them in the store. These are freaking incredible. So this light, when you open it up, it comes with a, whatever this what do they call this, JIC connector. So it comes with a quick connector, and comes with an Edison style. So you take your bulb out. You usually have to take like a trim ring out. You flip these things over, you push up and twist, or push up and twist. And then it locks in place, and you end up with a freaking crazy accurate, really awesome lighting experience. These are about $30 a piece. That is a 3500 Kelvin, super accurate, like legit high quality light. DMF, which we also sell, which is what I have at my house, is way better. But it's not 6 times better. The DMF fixture each is approaching $200 a piece. Just not practical. The DMF is prettier. It's like a dedicated heat sinked LED. These are a plastic type finish. They're aluminum, anodized aluminum. It's not 6 times better. It's better if you have the resources to do it. I think you would do the DMF if you had the choice. But most of the time, I'd be questioning it. If I was building a really nice house, I'd be questioning to do DMF. I'd be thinking about it. But these are fantastic. Now, if you don't even want to do that, so if you don't want to go to this, let's say it's an outdoor light or something like that, you have the option. I'm going to carry these. And they do make this in a 3K as well, so I just don't have one in stock yet. It was on back order. But these they're 2 different sizes. There's the BR30, which is a small. It's a 7.5 watt equivalent. So these bulbs look like so. They do make this in a 3500K. They do not make it in a filament style, so it is the plastic, clear plastic style. But this is when you have like a smaller, like 4-inch style, 4 or 5-inch style downlight or recessed light. And then if you have a 6-inch size, that's when you go up to the BR40. Now, the BR40, they don't make it in a 3500. This gets annoying. I don't think so. Let me check. Yeah, BR40 is only 3K, 4K, 5K. So they don't make a 3500 Kelvin in this size. But these are pretty decent, so interior, in the house, there's a difference between 3500 and 3000, quite a bit whiter, flatter looking, a little less yellow. So these are 13 watt, 90 CRI. These are a plastic type, but these will save you a whole bunch of money, because this is an 85 watt replacement. So you're going from 85 watts down to 13. So you're cutting your power bill pretty substantially. And a lot of homes will have tons of these bulbs. So 6-inch, you want a BR40. 4-inch or 5-inch can, you just go up there and measure it. You want a BR30. My recommendation would be do a retrofit, do a Cree retrofit. But if you don't want to do that, this takes about 10 minutes per fixture to do. This takes about a minute per fixture to do. The quality of light on these is considerably better. The output is better. These are going to be similar in rated output, but I'm telling you that the color accuracy, the accuracy and the fatigue, I guess the output of the light just feels considerably different. So if you can do an actual retrofit instead of just a bulb switch, you're going to be better off. Now, at the Helen house, I have the like 35-foot ceilings, 40-foot ceiling, whatever the heck they are, 25-foot ceilings. I couldn't do a retrofit. Plus, a lot of them were those like 8-inch kind of 45'd where we couldn't do a retrofit fixture, wouldn't fit in that hole. And so I had to do some of these bulbs in there. And so oftentimes these are going to be required, they're going to be necessary. Just know that if you're going to adopt the 3500 Kelvin standard, BR40, they don't make it. So you just need to keep that in mind. Now, one thing you could do is they do make a 3500 in an outdoor flood style. So a PAR 38 will fit in the same hole as a BR40. So you could buy these. And these look great, even though these are technically an outdoor fixture. They do have a little bit more output because they're a 90 watt equivalent instead of the 85 watt equivalents. Are going to be very similar in output. So you could adopt 3500, just put these inside. They just don't look quite as pretty, I think, because of the honeycomb type lens that they put on them. But the other nice thing about going to a PAR 38 is you do have the option to do a wide flood or narrow flood, so a 60 degree or a 25 degree. So we do have that option to do that. So to give you a perspective, pricing today, whatever today is in 2023, these are about $8 a piece, $8.20, $8.19 a piece. A BR30, a BR40 is about $11.50 a piece. A par 38, PR38 is a little bit less, actually $11.40 a piece. And so we have 25-degree angles on the NFLs or the narrow floods. On the wide floods is a 60-degree, and then on the 100-watt equivalent, 100 watts comes in, let's see, 100 watt only comes in 3K and 4K, so they don't make a 5K. The 100 watt is a 40-degree angle. Those are $13 a piece. And then in certain applications like outdoor flood areas and stuff, I think these will be useful. This is a 250 watt equivalent. So these might be used in garages, things like that. Let's see if we blind ourselves here. But this is an actual aluminum heat sinked type bulb. These are about 20 to 23 bucks a piece. This sucker will put off quite a bit more heat, but also quite a bit more intense light. I'm not sure the beam angle of these. These are probably 60 degrees. 40-degree beam angle. 33 watt equivalent. So it's going to put off quite a bit more heat, but this could take over for like garage flood applications, things like that, where you don't want to do a retrofit. So, or outdoors, these are super nice for 20 bucks. A nice bulb that comes in 3, 4, and 5K, doesn't come in 3500. So this is the G40 type. You can see it's basically the same as the little guys. It's just a big bubble like this. So this is good for certain, pendant lights and things like that. Only comes in 3K. Can't get in any other color temp. Creates a bit of a problem, huh? These are like 12 bucks. So now this is where it gets confusing. There's B11, C11, CA11, and there's a few other versions of it too. Think of B11 and CA11. So the 11, I don't know why they call it 11 when it's a frickin' E12. So this is E12 base. I don't have anything to screw this into, so I can't show you what it looks like. But this is your candelabra style bulb, right? Little baby. So here's your normal E26 versus E12. These you need for all kinds of like your entryway lights, maybe your outdoor little light fixtures, your Restoration Hardware chandelier, or your knockoff versions of chandeliers, your fans, things like that. You need these style bulbs. This is where it got really problematic. There's only one 3500 Kelvin type of these, and it's only in, what is it? Only 40 watts. And only in B11. We have 40 watt B11 in all 4 color temps. So we have 3K, 3500, 4K, and 5K. Then you have the flame tip style. That's the little squiggle tip type. And so the squiggle tip comes in 3K, 4K, 5K. So if you're going to be doing, all 3500 in your house, you're going to have to just buy the 3Ks and just deal with the color temp being not quite accurate in there. You'll notice it, but it won't be life-changingly different. Then they do actually, as of right now, I think it's coming out, but as of right now, they only do a 5.5 watt. So you'd want to probably put it on a dimmer because it's probably going to be a little bit too bright. This is a 60 watt equivalent. Most of the time in your light fixtures, you can do 25 watt or 40 watt equivalents. And so in the flame tip style, the CA11 style, 3K at 60 watts, 4K and 5K at 40 watts. And then we also have only one, but they also make a 60 watt C11. What are we calling this? No, we're calling these B11. Yeah, B11, C11, same freaking thing. So they also make a 3K at 60 watts. So if you wanted a little bit brighter for a certain application where maybe you didn't have a lot of bulbs in a smaller fixture, usually when you have a fixture with these type of bulbs, there's like 15 of them. Now the thing that stinks is these suckers are expensive. You know, they're $6.70 to $8 a piece. And like my one like restoration fixture has like 20 of them. So you spend hundreds of dollars on these light bulbs. But I promise I'm going to save you the pain of buying the wrong ones. And even at $8, I'm asking you, just, you're on your own here. I'm sending you the bulbs. Don't be freaking sending emails to Manny and the team about, well, I got one of the 30 bulbs I bought is flickering a little bit. Just order another one. I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying to send a new one to you and paying the shipping and all that crap. We're not doing that. I'll lose any money. I'm not making a lot of money on this stuff. I really just want it available, to be honest with you. This is doing this kind of selfishly for myself so I can go get it off the shelf when I need it, because it's such a pain in the rear to try to get this stuff. Just not a fun experience. So just to wrap up here, let's talk our color temperatures again. Let's see if we can figure out which one's which without looking. Let's see. Are these denoted on here? Dimmable, 5K. So there's a 5K. If I would have done that with a regular light bulb, it would have broken. Here's 5K, 4K. This is in a 15 watt equivalent, or 90 watt equivalent 15 watt LED in a PAR 38 style, 3K. And I know I'm confusing you, throwing out all these numbers and letters at you. It'll all make sense on the site when we put it up there, and you'll see which ones are available. And 3500. So when you're heading down the 3500 Kelvin path, just remember, 3500 is the hard one to get. Make sure that we have the bulbs across the board in your different locations that you think you might need. And again, usually you can use an equivalent, use a PAR 38 instead of a BR in a 6-inch fixture. Know that you only have one type of each. You only have one type of candelabra bulb. You only have one type of A19 bulb. You don't have the option to do the BR40, so you kind of limit some of your options. But you also don't have the option for the high output. The high output ones aren't available. And I like to try to get the whole house to match if I can. Also remember that if you have the option, if you have a recessed light fixture, you're always going to be better off doing a retrofit type of fixture. It's not hard to do. Even if you're not a real man, you can still pull it off. Ladies, you can do it too. I mean, it might take you a few minutes if you don't have a lot of mechanical skills. You can get up there, just pop it in place. It's really not that difficult. If you can use a ladder, if you can use a Phillips screwdriver, these will screw right into the hole. Sometimes you have to pull the Edison thing down or detach it or pull it down a little bit. If you're not feeling comfortable, go turn the power off so you don't shock yourself and get shot off a ladder. But it's really a pretty simple thing to do. It's about as simple as screwing in a light bulb. You just might have to, do a little bit of adjusting of the bracket, and it just pops right in. If I can do it, well, maybe not everybody can do it, but you can certainly do this project. Not too difficult. So all this stuff is available in the store. We're going to try to keep it in stock. If it's not in stock, don't be afraid to reserve your spot. Satco, they have distribution hubs all over the country, so I'm going to be, we'll be able to get it in short order. If it's something that's back ordered, we'll let you know via our weekly emails. But I'm telling you, it's worth the wait. Shoot, you've gone your whole life without having these light bulbs. And again, I would classify these as OG spec. I mean, these are the bulbs I have in my house. Which house is? That sounds pretty pretentious. The one house is a, Destination OG. But I have it here at OGHQ, have it at my house. Been using these bulbs since the Woodgate house. And I keep finding that when I try a different brand, I end up having to go buy a Satco to replace it. And so, again, the quality of these is the best I've found. If there's something better out there, maybe you can send them to me. I've even tried this company called Waveform, and I found that 30% of some of the brands that I've tried, 30% of the bulbs don't work. Again, you it's not worth your time to reach out to get like $12 back. So let's just try some of these other little bonus footage for you. That's color selectable. I'm telling you, color selectable, because they'll use 2 LEDs to combine the light to shift the color, and the color is never as accurate. So this is a 25 watt high pro A+ LED. It's the equivalent of 200 watt incandescent. Jeez, it's got a lot of output. It's running pretty cool too. There's a big old heat sink on there. Again, you usually don't want a color selectable bulb if you can help it. You got another one, another high pro LED. This is a 150 watt equivalent. This is a 5K, not color selectable. Jeez. Yeah, see, that's the kind of cheap light that we're used to. I hate that. That diffused looking, big heat sink. I don't like that kind of light. It's just gross. It just feels dirty. It feels cheap. Look at this sucker. So this is another high pro, 45 watt, color selectable, 50,000 hours, between 5,800 and 6,300 lumens. This is about to explode the room. So I think this is, let's make sure this is 110 volt. Yeah, 100 to 277. Yeesh. Actually, it's not as bright as I thought it would be. Where's the color selector? Yeah, see, that is a very different. See, these aren't rated at 90 CRI because it's garbage light. It's going to be like 60, you know, this color is just not right, is what I'm saying. Like the color accuracy, this was a 5K? 35. But that transition, so that's 35. So this is set at 3 right now. So this is a 90 CRI 3K. It's just a different color. You know, it's just not good. I don't like that. Anytime you have color selecting. So you see I have these combination of LEDs will have a certain amount of voltage pass through them to create the color temp. And so you end up with neither one of them being accurate. And so you end up with some hybrid version of each of the 3 color temps that it produces. This is a 65 watt equivalent, same basic thing. This one wasn't as bad though, the smaller version of this. What would you use this for? Like a post outside? Wow. Some serious output. And this was 65 watts, 8,400 lumens, and it'll draw, or it's the equivalent of 400 watt incandescent. Whew, that's pretty stout. Oh, you can choose the 2 different 32 watt or 60, 65 watt. Those are interesting lights. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Hopefully you guys will buy this stuff as you need it. I think it's a worthwhile exercise to go through your house, swap out all your A19s, swap out all of your interior, exterior lights. Made a real difference on my exterior. I went and swapped to 3500 on the whole outdoor soffit. We have a bunch of lights out there on the floodlights. Made a big difference in quality outside, and that's made the outside much more useful. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I can go put these back on the shelf and get them ready to ship for you. See you soon.